Welcome to the Nonprofit Solutions Matter Daily Radio Show, where we tackle the tough issues that keep founders up at night and answer your questions on everything from fundraising and board recruitment to marketing and resource development. If you're looking to start a nonprofit, raise money, organize your board, reactivate your organization, or chat about your mission, text the number on the screen to book a free call. We're happy to provide clarity and connect you with the resources and tools to help you move forward. Now, let's jump into today's program. Stay tuned as our Vice President dissects today's topic. Feel free to ask questions by dropping your comment below. Let's get started.
Beautiful day, everyone. We have the unique opportunity of having Sharon with us. She's decided to grace us with her rare presence. She's really all about doing the Lord's work, and today she's here to,
quiz
discuss.
you.
Yeah, really discuss on strategies to harness year-end giving for nonprofits. Um, we all know the end of the year is just around the corner. Giving Tuesday just a couple of months away, and this is really one of the time people take advantage of um, this good work we do, and then really make the ask so that people can be able to support your mission. And that's really what we're here to talk about today. But today um, it's not about me. It's not about Sharon. It's just basically about us discussing about this topic and seeing how we can be able to enrich you with what you can do to get your nonprofit up and running for the opportunity that's coming just before the end of the year. So, Sharon, lovely to have you here with us today.
Thank you, sir. It's great to be here today with you. And, we decided to do this today because many of our clients have been emailing, calling, even some folks that aren't clients, that are prospects that have been watching you live on these various channels. And I would say it's not a stretch to say that some of them are in panic mode because they realize it's getting close to the end of the year. They're looked at what their annual goal for the year is, and they see this gap, and they're trying to figure out, particularly if they're on a calendar year, how am I going to make up this gap in the next several months? And so you and I started having this conversation about just chatting today about what that looks like and what people should be doing now to really think about having a really stellar end of year so they can not only meet their fundraising goals that they set out with at the beginning of the year, but also exceed them. So tell me, what would be one of the things that they initially should be thinking about doing after they get over the shock that they're nowhere near their goal that they set?
Mhm. Like I was talking to you the other day when we first talked about this topic. End of the year campaign isn't really about waiting until the end of the year and then you putting out your messaging, making the ask. It's really you setting up until that point and then you taking advantage of that period because you've made the preparation. You've actually, watered the soil, you've fertilized the soil, and now it's time to actually get the harvest. So what I would really say, it's really big when it comes to end of the year campaign. It's really preparing before that opportunity. How are you nurturing those relationships you have? How are you keeping in touch with your donors? How are you keeping in touch with your contacts? Even before you get to that point where you're making the ask. I think that's really key because, of course, when it comes to the end of the year campaign, when it comes to the end of the year, as a matter of fact, people are more willing to give, people are more willing to support because, of course, it's the giving season, it's the season of love, and your organization can take advantage of that. But of course, you have to be ready. You have to have invested in those relationships. You have to have, kept in touch with those contacts so that when you make the ask, you are going to be worthy of your ask. You don't want to show up out of the blues and just be like, with your hands out. That's really not the way to go. So that's really my thoughts around this end of the year campaign.
Yeah, that's great. You touched on a lot of good points. And one of them that stood out for me was the fact that people don't want to just reach out this time of the year with an ask when they've not stewarded, cultivated, kept in contact with those individuals. And that contact could be anything like one, thanking them for their commitment to the organization, their previous giving, their previous volunteerism, whatever that is that got them engaged with your organization, but also demonstrating impact. If there was a donor that gave, are you sharing with them what their money did? Like, who did it help? How did it help? And giving them some kind of a report back of what their philanthropy did and how important it was to the organization. Because that way they feel like, oh, wow, I'll give again because it made this type of impact. Let's talk about those organizations that don't have donors. There are organizations that I'm smiling because I have a lot of clients that are relying heavily on grants from the
Mhm.
government, from foundations, and they haven't built out an individual giving portfolio. What could they do at this time of the year? Because they can't go to the government and say thank you or whatever, whatever. The grant is the grant. So, what should they be thinking about?
Mhm. Well, regardless of whether you have donors or you don't have donors,
Mhm.
I think at this time of the year, just before the giving season, you need to start to cultivate donors. You need to start building, acquiring leads, you know, reaching out to prospects. You need to start doing the work. There's really no quick or shortcut to it where you just get the success, you just get the result out of the blues. It is always as a result of the effort you've put in. It is always take it for example, it's just like any relationship. For you to be able to withdraw off a relationship, you must have invested in that relationship.
So
So I
true.
think regardless of where you are, whether you have donors or you don't have donors, you have to start building those leads. You have to start acquiring these prospects. You have to start initiating these communications. And don't make the mistake of initiating your communication with your hands out, just like I said.
Yeah.
Initiate the communication with the motivation of, building a relationship, with the motivation of building a partnership, with the motivation of, building a community around the need you're looking to solve. That, of course, is going to open up the communication into fundraising, into support as you approach the giving season. But don't rush in asking for money. Go out there, build new relationship, you know, build more following for your mission, build more social capital for your work. That way you can be able to tap into that investment. You can be able to withdraw off that relationship when it's time to do so. So really, that's my view around that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So many good jewels there. So let's just shift a little bit and talk about the Giving Tuesday bandwagon. So, what would you? I love the way I said that.
Yes.
Think about like who should be participating as an organization. What type of organization should be participating in Giving Tuesday? Because it's a lot of talk about it. There are a lot of organizations that want to get involved, but what is the ideal organization that could capitalize on it? Or is there one? Should everybody just be involved in Giving Tuesday and flood the market with asks on social media? Let me hear your views on that.
Well, I think everybody should be involved in Good Giving Tuesday. Um, there's really no criteria of who's going to be involved and who's not going to be involved. But of course, I think a lot of natural selection would happen during Giving Tuesday. Those who are ready would, of course, tap into that opportunity and harness that opportunity. But those who are not ready would, of course, miss out on Giving Tuesday. So I think the distinction will really be on those who are not ready and those who are ready. Because Giving Tuesday, it's very much like a platform.
Yeah.
It's a platform you can take advantage of, or you can choose to just let it slide through. And then um like we also said, a lot of preparation comes before that event. So if you're just saying you want to jump out on Giving Tuesday and just start sending out emails, promoting your campaigns, that usually gives very little result. But if you're in the place where you've built the momentum, you've built the social capital, on Giving Tuesday you can easily tap into that social capital. So what I would say is, if you want to tap into Giving Tuesday, begin to do the work now, right? If you know you want to ask on Giving Tuesday, start building up your email list, start building up your contact base, initiating renew relationships, so that when it gets to Giving Tuesday, you can tap into that contact or that platform you've already built for yourself, rather than just throwing out, because it happens almost every year, right?
Yeah.
You have nonprofits get to Giving Tuesday and they are like, what do we do? And they start sending out campaigns everywhere, thinking maybe that's the quick band-aid to it. And then, there's silence everywhere. They'd be like, wow, Giving Tuesday doesn't work. But that's not true. If you've done the work, if you've initiated the relationship, if you've, cultivated, steward your donors, it is most likely going to translate to donation support on Giving Tuesday. So
Yeah, thank you for that. I agree with you 100%. It is not, you just don't show up one day and start blasting out campaigns with not having built a track record or having an audience that you're going to reach out to that's already engaged with you. And so I believe that, yeah, everyone can participate, but like you said, do your homework. Take a full year of interaction engagement. Have a marketing plan, have a communications plan that integrates social media. So you know throughout the year what you're posting, what you're engaging, and what you're doing. So when you get to November, people have already been liking your posts, following you, engaging with you. So that's something that's really, really key. I just don't think that if individuals haven't been on social media, don't do it. It's a waste of your time. You know, I'm a big data person. And so when you look at the return on your investment of time, of people's, the HR, the human resources time to put all those campaigns together, you're spending money with no return on that investment. So take that time to plan, take that time to build out campaigns and then launch next year after you've had a full year of posting and cultivating and things like that. I'm going to shift gears, and I'm going to ask the audience to really connect with us, however you connect with us through this, because I have a question and I want you all to help me to weigh in. You heard me say that I'm a big data person, and I've been hearing a lot from my colleagues and people in the industry talking about election year and how giving goes down in an election year. I've not seen any data to support that. So if anyone can provide that, links to data, because historically, we've raised more money. This company has helped our clients raise more money in COVID, during a crisis, in an election year. So unless someone can show me some data that I can just go by what our success rate is. It hasn't affected us. But if there's data out there that suggests that people are skittish or they're holding on to their money to see the outcome of the election and whatever, show me the data. Send me a link. Send me that in an email. Just drop it in, because I just want to know, because we have not had that experience. And you will never hear me kind of talk about something that it's not backed up with data. And so I'm going to put that out there, because again, we're getting to year end. We're talking about year end. The election is happening. in like less than 50 days or 50 plus days. And it's going to be right smack in the middle of year end of year giving. And if this is something that exists in somebody's reality, let us know. And those who feel that want to be a part of an organization that can help you, not kind of fall into that rabbit hole that we can't raise money during the election year, reach out to us, because that is just not true. And we can provide you strategies and help you to have a successful year end campaign. And with that, I want to just again kind of ask you a question about planning. I want to go back to that. Now, a lot of the organizations we've worked with let's just look at 2024. They've had events, they've had gatherings, they've had tours of their facilities, their programs. And one of the things that I want to ask you, Rooney, is that an opportunity possibly for people to gain donors or gain, individuals that can become passionate about their cause? What mechanisms would they need to put in place to kind of get, and because again, I'm speaking to those folks that we're working with now that only have government grants. They feel like they don't have a database. So how do we help them?
Well, there are different levels to this. But one, I would always advocate for strategic action. And if I was in that position to take strategic action, who's looking to take advantage of year-end giving Tuesday, I would initiate a campaign that's going to get me all the way down to the end of the year campaign and even after.
Absolutely.
So it could be a sequence of, campaigns. First, it could be an enlightenment campaign or an awareness campaign. It's always best to start with awareness and enlightenment and education.
Yeah.
Keep them educated, keep them aware. This is what we're doing. This is where we're going. I would even put in some form of transparency. Now, what this level, we know Giving Tuesday is coming, and this is the time you all are really likely to give. And this is why we're reaching out to say, we're available. This is what we do. We're still doing this good work. We're going to be keeping in contact with you over the coming months. And then you keep nourishing that communication until you get to the point where it's Giving Tuesday and you're like, well, finally Giving Tuesday is here. Let's not let this pass. Let's be able to band around this vision. Let's support. That way you have people who've already followed you all through and trust you at that point to give to you. So this would always be my go-to strategic action. Build momentum towards the end of the year, and then during the end of the year, take massive action. Ask like you've never asked before. And then even after the end of the year campaign, let there be also a follow-up sequence to ensure that you're following up, you're still asking, and then you're nourishing that relationship. If you remember, Sharon, I think we did this for an organization sometime last year where we created sequence of different outreach messages just to, nurture that and then make the ask. So I think really this is what organizations should be looking at doing, setting up that sequence of communication that creates awareness, gets their donors to trust them, get the donors to, want to look into the organization a bit. And like you said, programs, events, activities. What are the events and activities that are leading up to the end of the year? You could invite them to come join these events. Invite them to just share their views as regards the events. Invite them to, share feedback. Just get them to be a part of the organization in some way before you get to make the ask. Really, that's how you get success before or after the end of the year campaign. So
I was so glad you mentioned the client from last year, because they were a group that only had like maybe 100 people in their database. They didn't even have a database. It was like people on a spreadsheet. And they really were looking to have year end have an impact and bring in more donors, but more advocates for their organization. They weren't even necessarily looking for money. They were looking for people who were as passionate about their cause as they are, so they could begin to build their audience. And so we built out that strategic platform for them with that timeline and action and just everything. That they increased. I think they went from like 100 to maybe like 400 or 500 new people in their kind of family now that they can interact with and begin to build on those relationships and capitalize on that. And I remember going to an event that they had like shortly after Giving Tuesday. It was like maybe the first week of December. And it was just like a reception. And they invited folks who had participated to come. And it was amazing that people were like, we just didn't know you existed. So thankful that they had the series of emails and touches and Facebook and LinkedIn and all those different places. And it was really, really great. So it went from being kind of this local thing to now having a national reach because they reached out using social media. So yeah, we got to put that as one of our packages right away because that one works and we saw the results of it where it worked really well. So I want to just end with a couple of things. You know me, I have promos. So we put together a year-end checklist, and that's a resource that we can provide for you that allows you to just kind of walk through kind of what are some of the things that you need to be thinking about before end of year giving, but also can take your momentum to that. And so reach out to Rooney. There's numbers or emails on the screen. Well, he can make sure that you can go into a discovery call that number, and we can get you that resource and then really kind of help you tailor what your messages are for your year end. Rooney, I'm so thankful that you were allowed me to share your space today. You've been doing an amazing job with these lives. I'm hearing from so many people how valuable the information is. I'm going to plan to try to come on more with you and spend some time with these kinds of interactions because I'm loving the traction that we're receiving. But more importantly, loving how we're helping so many organizations that just feel stuck. Our niche is founder-led organizations, smaller nonprofits that are, feeling the pinch of not having the resources that they need to take their organization to the next level. And so we're here to help you move that needle and get yourself on the footing to reach the constituency and run the programs that have been placed on your heart that we know are doing the most good in your community. So reach out to us. We're more than happy to walk with you and help you in this process. Any final words, Mr. Mooney, before we say goodbye?
Well, thank you so much, Sharon. Today has been really revealing. Of course, you've all heard it. There's no magic wand to this thing. You just have to show up. You just have to put in the work and you have to be strategic. You all have the information now. So go take action. And of course, reach out to us. We're always happy to help you. You can see my email on the screen. Send us an email. We'll be happy to help you forward, provide you clarity, just help you understand where you're at and what to do to move forward. So thank you so much, Sharon, for asking for this wonderful time. I look forward to having more of this time with you. It's just what I want.
Awesome. Well, I love it as well. And as much value as we can provide those individuals is just feeling stuck. We want to make sure that we help you take your organization to the next level. That's what we're about. And that's why we want to help. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. And we will talk soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye, Mom.